Happy Nutcrackers season. I've been so happy watching people get ready for their Nutcracker performances. I've been watching like different ballet companies with their about 2 months ago they did rehearsals. No, they did auditions and then they started rehearsing. And then, the rehearsing at their studios or at their schools. And then they started doing, fittings for the costumes and the makeup and then the rehearsals, like the actual dress rehearsals, and you have your rehearsals at the actual place where you're performing, and it's just been so exciting. And I miss the Nutcracker. Next year I'm determined to go see the Nutcracker, and I think I want to go maybe to a high school performance, something that'll benefit the that'll do a it'll benefit high school, or maybe a junior high school one, or maybe a college one, like a community college one. I think that'll be fun. Plus you can see the stage better. Even if you don't have to pay like a bunch of money to get the good seats. And sometimes even like the professional places, you can get the good seats, but the seating's all kind of weird. So yes, I'm already planning my outfit. Definitely it's gonna be a dress or skirt. Definitely gonna be velvet. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Anyway, so how's everybody been? It's Friday already. Honestly, I think this was the fastest week of 2025. It is 2025, right? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. So, yeah, it's just been a really fast week. Got a lot of stuff done. I just had to put my head, in the sand and just lock in and do what I needed to get done, and so much to get done. But I was just, I just got fed up. I'm like, look, you want stuff done, you gotta go do it. And so that's what I've been doing. And look what I found. I found my old cassette player, one of them anyway. I know I have another one somewhere. I think I have two more somewhere, and they hopefully still work. But this one still works. This was my favorite one. I got this like maybe 20 years ago, or maybe longer than that. And, I stopped using it because I got a CD player. And then I also stopped using it. I was mainly like listening to my football games and my baseball games when I was like commuting to wherever I was commuting to, because I didn't want to waste like my data on my phone. But I put it away a couple of years ago, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like, I don't know where it's at. Because my sister bought me, I stopped using it because my headphones like stopped working, and I can't use the earbuds. And so I have to use headphones. And for a while, the only kind of headphones you could find were the ones where they were like $60 to $100 or $40 to $100. I'm like, I'm not paying that much for headphones. But like I said, I could never use the earbuds, and those are really like $20, $15. But I can't use it. It's never been able to, like, they hurt my ears. Having the pressure in my ears, and then having the the music or the sound that close inside my ears. It's always just, I've never been able to do that. And even like you have the ones that are like hanging off your ears, those are irritating. So anyway, so my lovely sister, we were in Target, and she's like, I'm buying you some headphones, and they're a really good price. And I'm like, okay, for my birthday in September. And so I've been listening to the radio for like, I'm just jamming. When I first found it, I was like, please work, please work. Stuck the thing in there. It worked. And Spandau Ballet, if you know, you know, True was on. And so I started singing True, and the song was over. And before I knew it, I was like, when did I close my eyes singing the song? So yeah, that was a fun day. There was Earth, Wind, and Fire, and there was Mariah Carey. And like anybody walking by, if I had my window open, they'd be like, who is singing? And please stop. But I was just having so much fun, and I had my Walkman on, I put it in my pocket. I just cleaned the house. I was like, you know what? I miss this. I really miss listening to the radio, because you could do that on your phone, but then I get distracted. Like if I put music on my phone, then I get distracted. I'm like, oh, I need to change it or whatever. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta look up that. Oh, I gotta text that person. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta make that email. Oh, wait, I need to make a phone call. But when you have your cassette player or your CD player, you don't have that. You don't have any like distractions. And I hope the tape player works. Crossing fingers, y'all. I have to dig out a tape. Yes, I still have my tapes. I refuse to give them up. I have to dig out one of my tapes and see if it works. Crossing fingers. But I know I think I have two more cassette players, or at least one. And I know the other one, that was like the newer one, and I know that works, but I don't know where it's at because it's been forever since I like listened to it. So yeah, that would be cool, like to listen to my tapes again. And yeah, I have tapes, I have records, I have CDs, and for the longest time, I know I'm a pack rat. I'm trying to change my ways. I had 8-track. I had, I actually had 8-track tapes because we had a player. Believe it or not, we had a player up until, oh man, about 15 years ago. This is how well stuff was made. We had an 8-tape. No, not 15 years ago. I would say about 25 years ago. We had an 8-track player. It was a portable one, and it still worked. And so I was playing my tapes, and then it stopped working. But I kept this. I had like 20 CDs, and then I downsized. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep 5 of them, and then I kept those for the longest time. And I was like, duh, no, I'm gonna get rid of them. So I got rid of them about 10 years ago. I got rid of them, and now I'm like, why did I get rid of them? But you can't keep everything. And I hear that people are like putting 8-track systems in their cars now, and they're using them in their homes and stuff. That's cool though. But yeah, 8-track tapes, not the best thing in the world. If you ever use, 8-track tapes, they're just kind of like a pain. But I don't know, kind of fun or whatever. But yeah. So I'm happy to have my player, because that keeps me, like, when I'm doing my homework or I'm cleaning or I'm like doing my exercise, I can just put that in, and I don't have the distractions of the phone, because I know me. Pick the phone up to, like, do whatever, and I'm like, oh wait, let me go on Instagram, or let me go on this or that, and it's like an hour later. How many of y'all have ever told yourself, I'm gonna go on, pick your social media, I don't care if it's Facebook or just whatever, Instagram. I was gonna say MySpace. Is MySpace actually still around? I don't know. Whatever you choose, and you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna go on there for 15 minutes or a half an hour. Before you know it, it's an hour or 3 hours later, and you're going, oh my goodness, how did that happen? Whew. So yeah, I have to be really careful when it comes to Instagram. Instagram is not like it used to be, so it's easier for me not to be on there forever, because Instagram used to be a place where I used to go. I used to like Instagram because it was just pictures, and sometimes people would put captions, or this is blah 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 blah, or people would talk or whatever. But there was no music, and there was no lives, or there was no like you people put pictures now, and then there's music in the background, and that's distracting to me. And so I like scroll by those really quick. I don't even listen to those most of the time. So it's like a whole bunch of, like, there's music, there's words, there's pictures, there's somebody doing, it's a lot now. It's like, if I wanted to be, I'm not on TikTok. I know some of y'all want me to be on TikTok, but no, no, not a good idea for my addictive personality. But Instagram is kind of like TikTok. And so I don't really go on Instagram too much anymore. But I like I really, the only thing I use now is YouTube. And once in a while, just recently, I started getting back on Instagram. But it's not the same. And that's kind of cool, because it keeps me from being on there for hours and hours and hours. Literally, I can be on Instagram for 6 hours and not even know it. So anyway, what was the point? There was a point. The point was, I like having a cassette player where I could just listen to music and do whatever needs to be done. Whatever. So I like it. Old school, I know, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done. I was thinking about how many things that 20 years ago we're supposed to make our lives so much better, and that just hasn't been the case for a lot of us, you know. I know, I'm thinking about like what the internet looked like 20 years ago or 25 years ago, and everything was pretty one dimensional or not so much doom and gloom. And so even though doom and gloom has always been there, you didn't see it all the time, and so you really didn't know that it was. Oh, well, I knew it was there because that's my job, was to know that kind of stuff. And I knew what was going on in the world. I was privy to a lot of that kind of stuff because that's what, that's the work that I did. And so I had to know I had to know that kind of stuff. And now a lot of people are like, it's worse than it's ever been. And the thing is, I feel like it's always been kind of rough and tough all over the world and even in our country. But because you didn't see it all the time, unless you were reading the newspaper or reading, Time or Newsweek or, the New York Post or, San Francisco Chronicle, all those things, unless you were, doing that kind of, whether it was for school or work or whatever, or you just wanted to really keep up, you didn't really know what the horrible things that were going on around the world and in our country. But now it's 24 hours news, and people are talking about that, and people are talking about this, and so of course it makes it seem like it's worse than it's ever been. And now that I'm like pretty much retired from that world, I don't pay attention to what's going on in the world. I mean, I have people that let me know if I need to get out of harm's way, or like I have those people that let me know those kinds of things. But as far as like news every single day, I don't do that anymore, barely at all. I remember back in the day when I was working and all that kind of stuff, I'd get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, get my tea, turn on C-SPAN, turn on CNN. That's what we had. We didn't have those, the other. And then we had, I think, MSNBC came along, and then Fox came along, and a couple other things. And the internet wasn't like the internet yet, so we didn't have like news on the internet. Or we did, but it was more websites, and things didn't get updated as quickly as they do now. And so it wasn't so like, if you were the everyday average person, you didn't really know how like horrible things were. And sometimes I would try to tell people, I'm like, look, this is going on and this is happening, and people are like, no, that can't possibly be happening. So, but yeah, it's like fast forward 20, 25 years and it's the reverse. I'm just like, I'm paying attention, but I'm not paying attention, if that makes sense. Like I'll see headlines and then I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm not clicking on that. For me, I just want to keep my head to, just keep my head to the sun and to the stars. And people are like, but you need to know what's going on. I'm like, if you were camping for a month, or if you lived in, I don't know, the Himalayas, people always like to use that, or Siberia, whatever, and you didn't have the internet, or you didn't have a cell phone, or you didn't have news or whatever. What's the difference? What is the difference? And as I said, if there's something happen on in my city or in my state or wherever, people will let me know, and they'll tell me. But as far as me, like, no, I don't need to see all that. I don't. And again, here's the thing. I'm a history major. I was a history major along with political science. And I got my degree in the humanities. And so I had this, and at one point I wanted to be a constitutional lawyer. And so I had to take a lot of political science classes, a lot of history classes, a lot of research classes, a lot of theory class. I just had to take a lot of that kind of stuff. And I saw all the things that we've been through through as, America, and then all the things that other people have been through. And I grew up during the Cold War, and yeah, it was the end of it, but I had parents who lived in the beginning of the Cold War, and they remember, the Second World War and all the stuff that all the stuff that they had to do. And I, even in my school, we went through the nuclear bomb testing where you had to get under the table just in case. So I grew up with all that, and all of that kind of stuff. People, if they could get through what they went through, get through what they got through, we can get through what we're getting through. I mean, those people went through some stuff. And I'm not saying that what we're going through is easy. It's not easy. But I have a feeling we're going to be okay. 100% going to be okay. So, enough of that. Because I try not to get into politics on my channel. But I don't know. It just came out. But yeah, it's the end of the year. Yeah? And I don't know. This was I had some rough and tough, times during the year, here and there. Kind of fell into some darkness, but came through it, and the year went by. When you're I feel like when I'm intentional about my year, I get to December and I'm like, I wasted the year. I don't do that. When I have a plan and a goal, and whether I get through all of those goals and plans, and maybe I just, there's 5 things I wanted to get done, and maybe I just did 3 or whatever. As long as I'm working towards that, I'm happy, and I'm satisfied, and I just know that the next year comes. You just keep on keeping on. And I felt like I was intentional about this year, for the most part. And yeah, I'm this was a decent year for me. I mean, no fireworks or anything. Couple fireworks here and there, but and I learned some stuff. I learned some lessons. I felt like I found not that I was lost, but I felt like I dug myself up, like I was under a rock or something, and I had to go search for myself, and I felt like I found myself, and I'm still finding myself, or maybe rediscovering or uncovering myself, or I think that's what I'm trying to say. And so I'm excited, for the rest of the I guess we have 3 weeks to go. I'm excited. I have some things that I want to, sew up, get done. And I feel like there's like something bubbling in me, and it wants to get out. And I feel like I'm being told to like, just hang out, just wait, do what you gotta do what you keep working. It's coming. So yeah, sometimes we want things now, and it's like maybe you're not ready for those things. So I don't know. Anyway, I hope everyone is having a pleasant December, and I hope wherever you are, if it's super hot, go get something cold to drink, and if it's super cold, get under a blanket. Hopefully, get something warm to drink. And yeah, if you're celebrating the holidays or whatever you're celebrating or not celebrating, I hope that this time is a happy time for you, or a comfortable time for you anyway. And if not, that's okay too. I know this time people are missing loved ones. Those loved ones might be, not on this side of they're not in this world anymore, or maybe they're, they might be in the military and they can't come home for the holidays, or, maybe you're just not in that place where you can be with them for whatever reason. My heart goes out to those people. My heart goes out to you. And, you'll make it. You will make it somehow, some way. We're all going to make it. This time, we're all going to make it. I feel like we're all going to make it through this time. It's hard when you're in the thick of things. I know. Trust me, because I'm in the thick of some stuff right now. It's just got to keep on keeping on. A therapist said today that he was saying that sometimes we have an A plan and we have a B plan. And he said that he was able to finally get his stuff together when he ditched the B plan. And I realized, without even thinking about it, I was like, I have a B plan. When did that happen? So I decided, no more B plan. We're going to go with the A plan. And that's it. You know? So, yeah. Anyway, happy everything. And just try to enjoy the rest of these 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 months. Oh, yeah, just try to enjoy the rest of these weeks, and don't beat yourself up too much if you're not where you wanted to be or where you thought you should be. It's okay. Sometimes we have off months and off years and off days and off moments, and that's what makes us human. So, anyway, I love you and know that you're good enough. And I'm really gonna try hard to do some more of these. And I've just been working so hard, and the only time I can do these videos is at night. And at night, I am tired. I'm just like, I look at the camera and I'm going to bed. Anyway, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, or whenever you're listening to this. Know that you're good enough, and we'll get through this together. Know that you're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And till the next time, talk to you later. Bye.